Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Solid Sports video blog. You're watching right here on the Solid Sports Gamer channel. This is episode 144. Today's date is October 3rd, 2020. Thank you for joining me. I'm Troy West, and thank you so much for watching once again. As we got a huge show today. A lot of things happened this week. Major League Baseball playoffs in full swing as the wild card round is over. So the NLCS and ALDS are set. We'll go over that, and I give you what I think that what happened in those series. NBA Finals, Lakers so far has been dominant. They have a 2-0 lead at the winner again last night. We'll talk about that. Doc Rivers get hired by the 76ers after getting dropped by the Clippers, so that was quick. All that happened in the same week. We'll talk a little bit about that. And Kyrie Irving, again, in the news, some of the things that he said. Also involves LeBron James. I'll touch on that. And a big NFL Week 4. We look back at the Thursday night game between the Broncos and the Jets. Jets are in a free fall now as they lost. And now they fall to 0-4. We'll talk about that. Big 5 games of the week where I have all my picks for Week 4. Including the big game between the Patriots and the Chiefs that we will talk about. But let's start with the MLB playoffs. Of course, I always like to start with baseball first, get it out the way. You know, like it's a lot of people I know that's not baseball fan, but like I said, I grew up watching baseball, so I'm always going to be a baseball fan. But the wild card round series, they wasn't too bad. I watched a few games this week. It felt weird because, you know, it's never been it's been in the playoffs like that, best of 3 playoffs. Like I said, I predicted someone will go down that was huge. I don't see any huge upsets. Maybe you could say Miami finishing off the Cubs yesterday. That might be somewhat of an upset because they was a lower seed. But all the higher seeds made it. The Dodgers, they got through the Yankees. Took care of Cleveland. Cleveland was the higher seed, but the Yankees are healthy at the right time. They move on, so they will face each other in the American League Division Series. And on the other side, the Astros, they get through. Also, the Oakland A's beat the White Sox. The Astros played who the Astros play? I think they played. I could go check that and see. But I think they were a lower seed. But it's no real huge surprise. I thought maybe the Dodgers, well, not saying the Dodgers in particular, but like one of the 1 seeds will go down. Of course, Tampa is the American League 1 seed. I could check out that just to get a perspective. I forgot. Padres in the National League, the Padres, the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, that's who the Astros eliminated. And the Twins had a good year. Well, that whole AL Central was munched up. You know, White Sox, Twins, and Indians. But all those teams are gone. All those teams all 3 of those NL Central teams got eliminated. So that sort of sucks because the White Sox lost as well. And of course, I said the Indians lost to the Yankees. So it'll be the Rays and the Yankees in the best of 5, the normal division series. And Astros will go against the Oakland A's, which, you know, Astros, well, we know what happened last year with the cheetah scandal and everything coming out. So that's going to be an interesting series. And then if they play, say if they get by Oakland, and maybe it's the Yankees up next, that'd be interesting. The Yankees was one of the teams, and Oakland was real, well, all the division, the whole AL West, of course, had they gripe against the Astros and the Dodgers as well if they make it to the World Series. So Houston, without Justin Verlander, they get there because Justin Verlander about to have his Tommy John surgery. That was big news this week as well. And in the National League, the Miami Marlins, like I said, beat the Chicago Cubs yesterday to go to win their series. So they will go against the Atlanta Braves. My Braves, hopefully, being familiar with the Marlins, hopefully they can get by this series in the NLDS. And then on the other side, the Dodgers will face their division rival. San Diego Padres has been of course, a pleasant surprise this year. But all the games in the National League are being played at Minute Maid Park, which is weird. Like all the National League games is in the American League Park, and all the American League games is in the National League Park, which is Petco in San Diego. Maybe you thought it would be the other way around. I think the World Series will be in Arlington, Texas, at the Texas Rangers' new stadium. So now it's going to be somewhat of a bubble situation. I don't know if all the players have to like be in they'll stay in the facility or something, or if everybody staying in the one hotel, but it's supposed to be somewhat of a bubble situation now from here on, to keep Corona from affecting anything. But baseball been doing pretty good. Like I said, they've been clean for the last about month with no positive cases. That's why even though St. Louis lost the Cardinals, and you see what Miami doing, they had a big outbreak and they still had a great season. Miami in particular is another somewhat of a surprise. After losing over 100 games last year, they got this far. So, and I just think because they're in the division of Braves, I think they got to be careful. But I think the Braves will get by the Marlins. The Dodgers is on another high. I think it'll be the Braves and the Dodgers in the NLCS. In the American League side, I'm not going to go against the Yankees now. I picked the Yankees to come out of the American League despite them struggling off and on this year. I think they will upset the Rays. And then I don't know, I just got a feeling Houston over Oakland. I think just even though the Astros, you can call them cheaters or whatever, they've been here before. I think that will help. I think that like both series probably go the maximum 5 games, but I think it'll be the Astros and the Yankees in the ALCS. I think the Rays and the Oakland A's will be upset in the ALDS, excuse me. So that's my prediction for this week. I think that's what will happen. Of course, both the American League Division Series starts Monday, and Tuesday is the National League Division Series. And probably about a week and a half, those series will be over. Then we'll go to the League Championship Series, which will be in the same stadiums. And then the World Series will take place in Arlington, Texas. So we'll have full coverage next week. We'll see where people stand. It could be sweeps, it could be, so we could already have a clear picture by next week. So make sure you come back and join me next week. Of course, I'll be here Thursday as well for the big game in the NFL. It will be a big game. Buccaneers and Bears. Bears off to a good start. We'll talk about the NFL in a little while. One little note off the field. Tigers, Detroit, of course, they was eliminated. They did not make the postseason, but they did need of a manager. They're thinking about looking at Alex Cora and Hinch from the Astros. Both, guys lost their jobs due to the Astros scandal. Of course, Cora was a bench coach and then moved on to Boston, and Boston let him go, and Hinch lost his job. AJ Hinch lost his job as well. So, but the Tigers are looking at both of those guys. I don't have no problem with it personally. I mean, Detroit been down a few years ever since they've been rebuilding since the Verlander days and Prince Fielder. Those days, Tigers was pretty competitive for a while. They fell it off a lot, trying to rebuild. I think those guys hopefully learned their lesson. So if they do go with any of those guys, of course they ain't gonna do it again. They'd be stupid. So that's how I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put that in perspective, that they won't try nothing like that again from losing their job. So, but they, as I read, they're the top 2 candidates for that Detroit job. So just something to throw out there. But I have no major problem with it. I would rather them hire somebody else that maybe needs the opportunity. But if Detroit feels good about these 2 candidates, like I say, you gotta go with what you know. Well, not what you know per se, but something you feel comfortable with, which is a problem in all the sports. As far as minority coaches getting a chance, even though Alex Cora is considered a minority coach because he's Spanish, but we'll see where Detroit goes with that. I have an update next week if they hire someone. And that's why I kind of root for Houston, because Dusty Baker is their manager, and he's been so close to the World Series so many times. And then the Washington winning it last year, which could have been him, that got the Nationals to the World Series. So, sort of root for Houston for that reason. So I would like to see Dusty Baker get a ring. But we'll see what Detroit does. But they're the two top candidates. And I'm figuring, I know some people have problems. I haven't heard anything, but I know somebody out there is saying no, they don't deserve a job. But I say they get another chance. I don't know any coaches off the top of my head, no managers. I mean, I just don't like to see I like Buffalo Walker, but I think he should be done. He's been all over the league. I think he had multiple opportunities. Like someone like that, I think shouldn't be looked at unless you have no. Well, I'm not gonna say I have no choice, but But I think somebody like that. I like Buffalo Walker. I'm not saying this to degrade him, but I think if he gets the job, another job, then that's I don't think that's cool. But these two guys only had one opportunity, so I don't have too much of a problem with it. All right, that's it for baseball this week. Like I said, baseball playoffs in full swing. A lot of people said they liked the wild card round. It was all right to me. It was okay. It was weird. But it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad. I don't know if Major League Baseball will keep it. I don't know. We'll see, and how things look next year. We'll see if they keep it. All right, let's move on to the NBA. NBA Finals, of course. Started Tuesday. Was it Wednesday? I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Wednesday night, and then Friday night was last night. So 2 games already. Both Lakers pretty much looked dominant. Both of these games. Of course, last night Heat was shorthanded. No Bam Adebayo, no Goran Dragic. I think that would have made somewhat of a difference. Heat though fought and hang around in this game. I watched majority of this game. Sort of fell asleep. Was dealing with migraines were killing me this week. I feel alright right now. I got still in the back of my head. I was thinking about skipping and not recording, but I said I try to fit it in while I feel at least somewhat okay. But anyway, Lakers with a 2-0 lead. Pretty much the first game one was, like I said, it seemed more dominant. Game two, it seemed like the Lakers, I wouldn't say they was lazy, or like it seemed like they wasn't pushing as hard as they was in game one, in my opinion. And maybe that's why Miami was hanging around. Maybe they took them somewhat for granted with no Bam and no Goran Dragic. Jimmy Butler did all he could. Kendrick Nunn, the rookie, he still hit some shots yesterday. But Anthony Davis was again dominant. LeBron did his thing. So like Rajon Rondo, like that playoff Rondo, people joke around, but that's real. That guy, he plays hard when it counts. Well, he plays hard all the time, but as far as offensively, he's just almost another player. He hit some big shots yesterday as well. So I had the Lakers winning this series. I had the Lakers winning the whole thing way before Corona and everything else. I think if the Clippers, everybody said, well, if the Clippers got by the Nuggets, the Clippers would have. I don't think the Lakers would have beat the Clippers. I think the Clippers probably would have got off to a good start, just like how they did in the Denver series. Probably would have won, maybe went up 2-1, and I think the Lakers would have turned it on and beat them. That's just my opinion. Like I think that's how it would have went down. They would have noticed the advantages that they have. Like even in this series, like Miami have no big man but Bam, and Bam is only 6'9", excuse me. So you see how Dwight Howard, he's been a factor in the series. McGee ain't been playing as much, I think, since the Houston series. I haven't really seen him a lot. I ain't seen him that much in the Denver series. I guess with Jokic, but yeah, it's been Howard starting, and he's done a good job. But you still got Anthony Davis, and then you can still bring in McGee, even though, like I said, I don't remember seeing him even come in the game last night. So I think sometimes the Lakers try to mix up, play small ball. Kyle Kuzma looked okay to me yesterday, even though he's been off and on throughout the playoffs. Now I guess some people probably start to lean towards sweep, especially if Bam and Dragic don't come back. But I would still give Miami at least a game. I think they at least win one. I think I said 6. I think that was my prediction. 6 games. But now, like, I'm more towards the 5, and I wouldn't be shocked if it is a sweep. Miami just don't have enough. Like Jimmy Butler. Not saying he hasn't done enough, but he's going to have to be like a dominant scorer, like score 30 points or more for Miami to have a shot. And then the other role guys got to hit their threes. Miami, that's the thing they was doing. They was hitting threes. Jimmy got to get 30, and I think Miami also got to hit their threes. And that's the only chance they got to even make this a series. So, game 3 is tomorrow night. So we'll see. Bam will be ready. I think he might play. I don't know about Dragic. They said it's a foot injury with him, so I think his injury is a little bit more severe. I think Bam is a shoulder, and he was a game time. He was pretty much a game time decision, even though he was ruled. I think Dragic was ruled out first. But I know one of them was ruled out first, the other one was still lingering around, and then they both, was considered out. So, but we'll see. They need both of those guys as well. That'll definitely make a big difference. Because the Lakers, to me, like I said, they played around with the Heat the way it looked to me yesterday. So hopefully Miami can get back into it. Game 3 is a huge game. If you go by history, nobody never came back from 3-0. People came back from 3-1, as you know. The Nuggets can tell you that. But 3-0, that still never happened in the NBA. So Miami pretty much have to win that game Sunday for it to be somewhat interesting. But I don't know. Something telling me that this was pretty much over. We just gonna have to wait and see. Alright, so let's go off the court. Other than the NBA Finals, of course, everybody know about what happened with Doc Rivers earlier this week. I think it was Monday. So this was probably after I recorded the blog. I know it happened during the week, so it happened the same week. First, it was more of a mutual. Well, the first reports when he left the Clippers, it was mutual. Then it came out that he basically was flat out fired. And I was sort of shocked because, a lot of people were saying, a lot of commentators and pundits were saying it's hard to win that first year when you just throw a team together, and pretty much that's what the Clippers did, is threw a team together with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, which wound up not working out. There's rumors already about Paul George might be gone, or they might try to trade him again. And I really like Paul George. Paul George to me is a great player. Yes, he's falling short in the playoffs. He was going back to his Indiana days. The 1 year Oklahoma City, he struggled a little bit in that series against Portland. And struggled all these playoffs. Since the bubble period, he has his issues, the depressive issues. So I'm not gonna brush that under the rug, because like I said, I deal with depression myself. But he's falling short in the playoffs. That's just long story short. I think they should. I think first of all, like I said, everybody always want to. Even Houston too. I guess let's go for the Rockets too. I think it's alright to play small ball, but you need some type of big man. Like that's why I picked the Lakers to win the whole thing, because they got the best big man group. Of course, they'll need to be your number one scorer. It's not like Shaq. You get the ball, pounded in the paint. That game is gone. That's gone. But as far as like getting rebounds, doing a dirty work, playing defense, you need an active big man like a Dwight Howard, like a JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis. Even though he's a good scorer, but he can still go. You need somebody who can go in the paint every once in a while. You just need that. Like that's still part of the game, regardless of how the game has changed. So I think that's why Houston struggled with the Lakers. They beat them in 5 games. Like I said, I think they would have beat the Clippers maybe in 6 because of Kawhi. I think Kawhi would have, made up for that, not having, because they really have a big man. I think Montrezl Harrell was their biggest guy, and Boban, which he's decent, but he's not. No, he's not a big man that you need. So I think the Clippers got to focus on that, get this together. I think they can come back with the same team. They say the chemistry is off, so maybe try to nip that in the bud. They were saying a lot of guys didn't get along. They said that's why Lou Williams had his issues, like I said, outside the bubble as well. The loss of his mentor. Then the media, dragging him because of the Lemon Pepper situation at the strip club in Atlanta and all that stuff. So maybe he was distracted because he was off. Beverly couldn't stay on the court. He was hurt here and there. Then when he did play, he was in trouble fouling out early. So the Clippers just didn't look good. And Doc had to follow the sword for it. But then, to me, somewhat of a surprise, that Philadelphia swooped right in and picked him up probably about 2 days later. He was hired as the Philadelphia 76ers coach. And like I said, this is no indictment against Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a great coach. I think he is one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA. He had this, but I just think he's somewhat overrated. Like, just like the Boston team that he had was a great team, but they only won 1 title. Despite the hype was around that team, they only won 1. And I think there was 7 games. I think both series with the Lakers were 7. They might have beat them in 6, but I know the last game they blew Lakers off the floor. I think it was a game 6. But yeah, like that's the only title that he won. His Orlando stint was shaky. He had Tracy McGrady. They had their playoff lead. They blew a 3-1 lead as well. Then he has done it twice here with the Clippers. So he got 3-1 lead blown. Now as a man, I think that's what separates him from other coaches. Like, he's a real person, at least from the outside looking in. Of course, I don't know the guy, but just by some of the quotes that he's had, how he interacts with his players that you see, he's a great coach. I think players want to play for him, but I think he has to look in the mirror a little bit. Like, he's had his struggles. He got the 1 title with Boston, but other than that, he struggled. So we'll see how he do with Philadelphia. Now the thing about the Sixers are the Embiid Simmons dynamic. Can he get that together? Can he improve Ben Simmons? But Philadelphia don't have a bad team. He was saying, well, they was the one element I heard somebody say about Tobias Harris. He's there. They just paid him. Maybe he could get the best out of Tobias Harris as he did in LA when Tobias Harris was in the Clipperland. So that's an interesting dynamic. Joel Embiid, could he finally be more? I think Joel Embiid just not. He just gotta be more motivated and work a little harder. And like I said, Simmons got to improve his game as well. But I don't think it's a bad hire. I think Doc, despite everything I just said, he has a lot of experience. I think he could. He's sort of like I just brought up Buck Showalter a while ago, baseball coach. He goes. He never won a ring. So I mean, I'm gonna put that out there. He never won a World Series, but everywhere he's gone, the team has gotten better. Even here in Baltimore, he was the Orioles manager. He made the playoffs a couple of years, just could never break through. The New York Yankees, he went there. Arizona, everywhere he went, he made the franchise. They was a contender, but when they got to the postseason, they just could never break through. Doc is similar. Doc did get the 1 ring in Boston, like I said, but he did improve Orlando when he went there. Look at the Clippers. This is the best Clippers run they ever had. Even though he had 2 groups, he had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. That team underachieved as well. I mean, they got better, but they still never got past. Even now, they never got past never got to the conference finals as a franchise. They just been close. And Boston, like I said, Boston was, wasn't achieving that much. And they got, they was able to put together Garnett and Ray Allen and Joey Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was by himself. But everywhere he went, he's improved the team. So I think Philadelphia will look better. But will they break out the East? I don't know. We got the Nets coming next year. We're going to talk about them in a second. Milwaukee ain't going nowhere, at least for this year. We'll see what happens with Giannis. Toronto Raptors, Cavs dismissed them either. They're the top teams in the East, clearly, and by the Heat as well. Don't forget about the Heat, even though they might not win this series against the Lakers, but maybe they could improve themselves by next season. Next season is going to be great. Like, I know this season was pretty good to me. I know I've seen reports that the ratings are way down, and I think part of it is because some people want to say it's political, and it might be. People might just don't like the how political the NBA was throughout the bubble, and also I think it's just a lot of other sports going on, like the NFL. Usually you're not going nowhere near the NFL. The NFL being in the off season normally with the NBA Finals going on, so I think all that stuff does factor in. That there's other sports and stuff going on. But like I said, I enjoyed it. The games that I've watched. Yeah, it's different. You know, it's not a typical NBA final, not typical playoff games with the crowd and everything. But I think Miami benefited because Miami played hard. I think the other teams was sort of, I don't want to say distracted, but I guess you could put the political things in there. Some players wasn't sure that they want to go or not. So, like I said, when you want something more, usually that's the difference. I think Miami and that organization with Pat Riley, I think he kept them focused. I think that's why they was able to get out the East. Even though, like I said, they might not win this year, but they're going to be a contender. So they're the top teams to be in the East. Philadelphia, I guess you could throw them in there. Everybody else, you know, Orlando. I like Indiana too, but Indiana, just like, you know, I think they're still looking for a coach. But we'll see. But I mean, like I said, the East is not as weak as it used to be. In the West, you already know how the West is. So, like I said, the Lakers win this one. It's going to be rougher next year because I think the Clippers, it's going to be interesting who they hire as they coach. They're going to be a contender. So it's going to be real interesting next year. But Philadelphia, I think it's a good hire for Doc. Let's see Doc. I think it'll be more of a good structure there. But we'll see, like in the second year, third year, will the Philadelphia actually rise? Will they improve? Or will they just stay kind of where they are, but just look a little better? That's pretty much how the Clippers did. We'll see. Alright, some more off the court news. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I guess I mean, it's more of a Kyrie Irving story, but Kevin Durant is in it too because them two did a podcast and Kyrie said a lot of stuff regarding first. We're going to touch on the LeBron James thing. Basically, long story short, I'm not going to take too long with this story. I'm going to try not to. He basically said Kevin Durant is the clutchest player he ever played with. Knowing that he played with LeBron James. But LeBron, well, he sort of did nudge and respond. He was like, I guess he brought up AD Anthony Davis, like, we're not jealous of each other, you know. So I guess basically he said Kyrie Irving was jealous of LeBron. And a lot of people point out to the game-winning shot in Game 7 that brought Cleveland their only championship when LeBron was there. Of course, Kyrie hit the big shot, and they won a game in the series. And Kyrie expected more of, you know, more validation, more, you know, like he was on the same level as LeBron James. And when that didn't happen, he asked to get traded. Of course, he went to Boston. And it didn't work out there either. He didn't get along with the players there. And then in Brooklyn this year, it was even rumbles when he's in there. Now, he's a great player, as everybody knows. Probably, especially one of the best finishers around the rim, but and his jump shot is pure as well. He's a great player. I just think, I don't know, he just got to rein it in mentally a little bit. Him and Kevin Durant too, sometimes, you know, just let, you know, what people say bother them too much. Then Kyrie came out and said, well, he didn't mean it He wasn't really talking about LeBron or anybody. He didn't say any names, but it's common sense, bro. He played with LeBron, so you basically saying what you say. You don't have to say somebody's name. But I think he had a good, only good point he made. That why it gotta be brother against brother. Like, I don't think he meant it like malicious either. Like a lot of people agree with that. Like I don't think he was set out to just throw shots at LeBron. But you know how things are, man. Like, you know, somebody was gonna flip this. I wouldn't say flip it because they basically did say that. So, but the Brooklyn Nets as a team, like I said, they stacked. If they able to keep everybody with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, there's just so many weapons. Spencer Dinwiddie, Josh said they got a lot of good players. Joe, the 3-point shooter, Joe. So they got a lot of nice pieces there. Carl Levert, you see what he did. Of course with Durant, you already an instant contender. But I'm a little nervous about this team. Will it work? You know, those two guys love each other. At least that's what's been reported. They bros. So I don't think it's going to be no too much off the court stuff or on the court stuff. I think, like he was saying, he wouldn't mind deferring to Kevin. So if that's the case, maybe Kyrie will just do his thing, fit in where he get all other players involved on the team. The Nets should, you know, they already said they favorites. I'm not going to put them. It's hard for me to say they're not because it's like I think they could beat Milwaukee as it is. I think they could beat Miami. I just did this be a little too for the Heat. I definitely put them on over the Sixers right now if they come back as this team. So yeah, but at the same time, I think just the Kyrie. I don't mean to put it all on Kyrie, but just the element of how things off the court could go. It could be a little bit of a disaster. I can see it happen. I can see them being like a middle of the road East team and then struggling in the playoffs. I can see that happening. Despite how deep this team is. But they have the talent. You know, on paper they're the best team in the East. Like you gotta say that they are. But like I said, that's why the next year is gonna be so interesting in the NBA. Like I said, I think I said this last week. The next season they're gonna start till at the earliest next year. So we'll see. But I can't wait for it. But Kyrie, you know, if you believe what you believe, I guess keep talking. But I think he's one of the players. Even Durant, to his extent, they have to prove it. Even though Durant did what he did at Golden State, he didn't like it because he didn't get the validation he thought he was going to get. Because he joined Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond and everyone. So I got respect for what he did, but I kind of can understand how people say, well, all right, well, when you had, you know, they bring up the Oklahoma City stint, which you have to bring it up, you know, it was up 3-1 against the Warriors. They couldn't close that deal. That's another 3-1 series, long lead, so that happens more often than not. 3-1 series lead blown. They Golden State did it in the finals that same year. But anyway, the Nets, man, it'll be exciting to see how that works out. But I think if they reach their potential, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference, bar none. Unless, like I said, these teams do something in the offseason to improve themselves. Alright, so that's it for the NBA. Hopefully by next week, the finals could be over by the time we come back next week. We could have a champion, so we'll keep an eye on that this week. You know, I'll be back Thursday. I'll give you an update on who's leading the series. I think it's about another 2-3 games before we get to next Thursday. So like I said, series could be over by then. Let's get into the NFL this week. NFL Week 4. I try to be quick. I already been on here about 40 minutes at least. So I try to wrap things up. Let me pull up the schedule. So I'm gonna give you my predictions for all the games. Thursday night football. I admit I didn't watch not a player this game. Part of it is because it was on the NFL Network and I couldn't get it, to be honest with you. But much higher scoring game than I thought it was going to be, and I was somewhat surprised at the result. Denver Broncos went to New York and beat the Jets 37-28. Sam Darnold looked at average. They had that big play that got social media buzzing. I think it was 46-yard run. He didn't look terrible, but he didn't look that great either. The defense helped out as well. 3 interceptions. But Brett Ripken, like I said, the nephew of Mark Ripken, the old Redskins quarterback from '92 Super Bowl, his nephew, he got it done. He had 2 touchdown passes, but he did have 3 picks. Melvin Gordon, I think that was a good sign to see him play well for Denver. We'll see when they get Drew Lock back. Like I said, they have a lot of injuries as well. That's why I thought the Jets would win. They're like, Jets, you gotta win this game, and they didn't. So the call for Adam Gase is starting to get louder and louder, and I can't blame people for that. He just hasn't gotten it done. Surprising result, but that's the NFL sometimes. Thursday night games as well. I just thought it was so much against Denver that they wouldn't be able to score 37 points, let alone win this game. So Broncos get the win. They go to 1-3. Jets fall to 0-4. Now they talking about they should tank and all this other stuff for Lawrence. I don't know. Like I said, I think Sam Darnold has potential, but I think if they do get the number 1 pick, you gotta at least consider it. I say that, but the Jets season is, it's just terrible. Both New York teams, the Giants, with all what happened with them, both teams could be 0-4 by the end of the week. So let's get into the picks. Let's look at the games this week. Like I said, I got my big 5 written down here. I'll go in extension. I'll talk deeper about these games, but the other games I'm just gonna try to make my pick. Say a few days and move on. So first game up on the schedule, the Baltimore Ravens at the Washington football team. Ravens, of course, tough loss last week to the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. Short week, they play Washington this week. No Chase Young, I saw that there, so that'll help. But Washington, that front still pretty decent. We see the Kansas City front bothered Lamar Jackson last week. Let's see if he adjusts. And I think he would. I think the Ravens probably went big here. They up 14-point favorites. That's big for NFL regardless. They might cover that, but I got the Ravens winning the game. Here go one of my big 5 games up on the schedule. The Indianapolis Colts at the Chicago Bears. This is a sneaky big game. Colts had that week 1 loss. And we thought, well, Phillip Rivers ain't doing this, ain't doing that, but he's looked good the last 2 weeks as they won. Bears make a quarterback change even though they was undefeated. Nick Foles looked sharp. I got the Bears winning the game outright though at 3-0. I think the Bears would be somewhat of a surprise. I still think they below Green Bay, but I think they could be now a wild card team at least if they keep it going. Like I said, I think their schedule get a little tougher though, but I got the Bears winning. Colts 3 points favorite though on the road, which is somewhat surprising to me. Like these spreads be mind-boggling sometimes. But Colts get 3 points. I like the Bears period to win the game, but definitely if you're a betting person, I would do that. But I just think the Bears defense going to bother Phillip a little bit. And I think that's going to even it out. I think Phillip Rivers, Nick Foles are playing well. They're getting the ball to see how Allen Robinson look. I think that's going to come into fruition. I think the Bears will beat the Colts this week. They go to 4-0. Jaguars, Bengals. Bengals 0-2-1. Of course, they got the tie. Jaguars 1-2. I think this is the game the Bengals win. I think Joe Burrow finally gets a win here. I think they beat the Jags. Cincinnati 2.5 favorite. Here go one of our big 5 games. The Cleveland Browns at the Dallas Cowboys. Cleveland 2-1. Dallas is 1-2. Dallas have a 4.5 point spread advantage here. This game, I'm gonna go with Dallas. I just think the Browns, usually when they on a high, they fall short. Like they have a weird game. And I think this will probably be a weird game they have. This could be a shootout though. But I just like Dallas. I think Dallas have played, even though they lost 2 games, pretty tough. And the basically only win is against the Miracle against Atlanta. But I think this will be a game they fairly win from start to finish. I just got a feeling about it. I think Dallas will win. Dak Prescott to have another monster game. I think if Cleveland run, like I said, I think I've been hearing this week Cleveland urging Baker Mayfield should have a big day because of the Dallas secondary. Throw the ball around. No, run the ball, man. Y'all win when y'all run the ball. Establish the run first, then throw the ball. Like, it's common sense to me with Cleveland. So I think if they do that, I think they'll be able to be surprised the Browns with this game. But I just think they're gonna try to throw, try to pop up Baker Mayfield to throw the ball, and I just think this is a bad game for the Browns. I think the Cowboys pull it out and win. Saints at Lions. Saints 1-2. Lions 1-2. I'll go with the Saints here. Just think they're the better team. Even though the Lions have played well, despite they 1-2, played better than we had thought they would play. Saints, Drew Brees, they looked better last week, even though they lost against Green Bay. They got the offense like this roll a little bit. I think Michael Thomas might be back for this game. I think I saw it. Or is he out? I know he's close to coming back. I don't know if it'll be this game or not, but to get him back, I definitely feel good about this game. But I got the Saints though. Seahawks Dolphins. I got the Seahawks here. Seahawks is just on a roll. A lot of people picking this, and maybe this is an upset. I don't think so. Even though Miami is going to be warm and you travel, like I said, it's an early game and all that stuff. Like, yeah, that stuff matters. But I just think Seattle's just too good and will beat Miami easily. Chargers and Buccaneers. LA Chargers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks 7-point favorite. I think the Bucks win. I think the Chargers though, but their defense might be able to slow the offense down. No Chris Godwin, he's out, and no Leonard Fournette either. Both of them been ruled out of this game, so they had to lean on Ronald Jones and see Mike Evans. I think we have a Gronk sighting in this game. I'm predicting Gronk come out of the woodworks and do something. I got the Buccaneers winning. Cardinals at Panthers. Cardinals. I want to say, a little bit disappointing last week against Detroit. They was able to lose that game. But I think they go there to Carolina and win on the road. Like I said, Panthers with injuries, no Christian McCaffrey, and the defense is bad. So I think DeAndre Hopkins will have his way, him and Kyler Murray, and I think they'd be too much for the Panthers. I got the Cardinals winning. Another big 5 game. Vikings at Texas, even though both teams are 0-3, but I think it's a huge game. I think the loser of this game will risk not making the playoffs. Even though I think, well, the Titans had their problems. We're going to talk about the Titans in a little bit. But Houston, I still think they could probably crawl back because the AFC is so deep and so wide open. I think they could probably, if they lose, I think they could possibly come back, probably make history. I don't think a 0-4 team ever made the playoffs. I think Minnesota, the NFC is just too deep. I already think they're not going to win the division. I think Green Bay got the division wrapped up now, or Green Bay, Chicago, one of those teams. I think the Vikings have to win this game if they want to make the playoffs. Kirk Cousins have looked terrible. And the defense has been surprisingly bad, which I can't believe it. And I got Houston winning this game. I think despite them going through, Deshaun Watson played well. It's been their defense as well has played bad. So this could be a crazy shootout game. But I think Deshaun Watson will make most of the plays. I think Kirk Cousins will slip up and mess up. I think Houston still, with J.J. Watt, can still get some pressure on him. And I think that'll be the difference. I think the Texans win and try to crawl back into contention here. Giants look so bad. Hopefully that didn't mess up. I forgot about my controller. Yeah, so I have to get things restarted. I'm sorry about this. Every time I get deep in the conversation, actually I'm running out of time, so I need to hurry up. Anyway. So I apologize about this. Of course, as you see, this is the PlayStation Playroom. This is how I record my videos. This thing is a little fun. It's with the PlayStation camera. It's actually kid-friendly. Play around with these little robot things. So I apologize. I got so deep into the conversation. So I gotta be quick. I don't have a lot of time here. Running out of time. Where was I? Minnesota, Texas, Houston. Yeah, Houston will win that game. I just think, like I said, Deshaun Watson to have a monster game. Rams, Giants. Rams will win. Giants will just so destroyed, injuries and everything else with them as well. It's gonna be a rough year for the Giants. So both New York teams going to suffer here. Patriots, Chiefs, probably the biggest game of the week. Kansas City 3-0, New England 2-1. Chiefs 7-point favorites. I got the Chiefs to win the game. I think it'll be a close game, tight game. They can have a monster game. But I think this will be a tough game for the Chiefs. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Bill Belichick is going to take away somebody. He might try to take away Kelsey or Hill. One of those is going to be X'd out of the game. So the other one will have to step up. So I think the other players around will have to step up. Mahomes will have to be a little patient in this game. I don't think this is a game you're going to be able to throw it all over the field. I think you're going to have to sort of take what Belichick gives you and then try to work off of that. But I think they still pull it out. I think Cam, I think this is going to be a good game. I think Cam will have a decent game as well, but I just think Kansas City is a little bit better, and they'll win the game. Another big game of the week. Bills at the Raiders. Raiders 2-1. Bills 3-0. Buffalo 3-point favorites. I think Buffalo will win the game. I think their defense will, even though haven't played that great, which has been a disappointment, but Josh Allen has. But I think the Raiders won't be able to stop him either. Stephon Diggs is having a good year there. I just think the Bills' defense is a little bit better. I think that's why they win this game on the road. I think this is like when I say a huge game, I think this will go a long way if they can win this game. I think they'll start being taken seriously as well as a contender. Raiders, though, I like the way the Raiders look this year. They not know. I think they could be a playoff team. I think Derek Carr looked pretty good. Josh Jacobs doing this thing. But I just think the Bills are a little bit better. And I think they prove it on the field. And I think they win the game. I think it'll be close, though. Close game. And our Sunday night game, Eagles at 49ers. Eagles, like I said, is free falling. I think the 49ers, despite, I think Jimmy Garoppolo still will be out. But I think they have enough pieces. I think they beat the Eagles Sunday night. Might be a close game, though. But I think they win. And our Monday night game, Falcons at Packers. Falcons 0-3, Green Bay 3-0. They just had the potential to be somewhat of a shootout. But I think Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind right now. I think Green Bay wins this game outright. Okay, so that's it for the picks. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time left. So I'm going to just brush over the Titans COVID-19 situation. You heard about it, a big outbreak within the Titans organization. They're supposed to be ready to play next week, but they canceled this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. So both teams will have their bye this week. Then in week 7, they will play, which will make the Ravens have their bye week that week instead of week 8, which was supposed to be their bye week. And then they will play Pittsburgh on November 1st. So the game been moved to October 25th, Titans Steelers, which would have been a huge game. It definitely would have been on my Big 5, both teams 3-0. Titans in my top 5 as well, in my power rankings. I just think they deserve respect. Coming off of last year, AFC Championship appearance. Ryan Tannehill still playing pretty good with Derrick Henry, the defense. So I think the Titans are a decent team. They might hold on to win this division as well. with Houston being such a big hole. The Colts are right there. I mean, I go dismiss the Colts yet, but I just don't believe in them as much. And Jacksonville is Jacksonville, so you know they're not gonna do too much this year. But the good news is they played the Vikings. The Vikings have no positive tests, so that's good. So it's just the Titans. So if they get it together, they'll be ready to play next week. And just hopefully it don't, this don't happen again. But I mean, you can't be surprised. You knew what's gonna happen. You're traveling, you're doing all types of other things. So hopefully the Titans get healthy and get ready, and they can be ready by next week. So that's the big news off the field this week in the NFL. So they had to move that Titans Steelers game to October 25th, which is week 7. And then the Steelers was supposed to play the Ravens week 7, but their game got moved to week 8 because the Ravens had a bye. So that's what the NFL did to switch that up. So the Ravens is the only other team affected by this, because I was wondering how they was going to reschedule this game. With both Titans and the Steelers having different bye weeks. So the Titans, I think, will be off week 8, I believe. I think that's what would be their bye week instead of they had to switch their bye weeks as well. So minor change, surprisingly. So hopefully, like I said, we won't have any more outbreaks in the NFL. We can get the season to continue to move forward. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Like I said, I've been on almost an hour. I only get an hour of airtime. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching. Crash Bandicoot 4 is about time. I plan to launch that this week. Even though I'm behind, I've seen a lot of, you go online or YouTube right now and see people already finished the game, playing the game. I'm just excited about it as a Crash Bandicoot fan. I've loved Crash since the 90s. And then I watched the videos, the way they, it's an awesome game. Like, if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan and a platforming fan, period, it's a must buy, and I must buy it possibly today. I'm going to try to download it, and hopefully Monday I have at least the first video being displayed. So definitely look out for that. More Call of Duty, Cuphead as well. I'm playing another level again, somewhat stuck, even though I ain't played it that much this week. I've been, not feeling well. So they projects to look forward to. And that'll do it. A lot of other things going on in sports. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Stanley Cup champions. They clinched, I think, I want to say Monday or Sunday, they won their series over the Dallas Stars. So that NHL season is over. If you're a tennis fan, French Open going on right now. So a lot of things going on in the world of sports. Like I said, no baseball today. Got college football though. SEC second week. That'll be interesting. Some big games in the SEC. Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia, Auburn, top 10 matchup. So something to look forward to there. So like I said, just want to thank everybody for being so supportive. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I don't have a lot of time, and I thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. See you guys Thursday. We got a big game in the NFC. Bears and Buccaneers. That could go a long way in the NFC playoffs. So that'll be a decent Thursday night game finally. And I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Try to stay safe, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you.